Yashwinder Singh, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, any idea which state they are going to introduce first this NEP?
Sir, it has to be countrywide. It can't be statewide. That is what my reading is. But
Ah,
because see, what is happening is they will have to involve the state governments. But
hmm.
one thing is there, because I'm from Gujarat, and anything that they bring into India first is Gujarat. So we are the
Okay.
guinea pigs.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. We'll have to have it discussed. I don't know when they will
No,
start.
actually, the central government has told by 23, but some states they have planned to introduce by next academic year itself. This is what I have heard and read the news.
Sir, it is a state policy because education is a state prerogative.
Central.
Yeah, but education is something that is put up onto the states. Only
Hmm.
the policy would be given by central. Anyway, Rajulji, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rajul Pratap Singh. I welcome you all to this very special 137th session of Leadership Talks. I
Thank you.
welcome all our key speakers, Millie Supriya ma'am, Yachna Chawla ma'am, Suresh Kundur sir,
Thank
Indrajit
you.
Singh sir, Shivnath Singh sir, Anand Kumar Tiwari sir, Jaswinder sir, and Sergio John sir for joining. I also welcome and thank all of the participants for joining us today at this very special 137th session of Leadership Talks. As you all have received the flow for the session, I will begin the session with the formal introduction of our key speakers, and then I'll invite our speakers for their opening remarks, and then for the main talk. In the end, I would request all our participants, if they have any question, they can write in the chat box for our key speakers. We have already received many questions during the registration process, so I would be presenting those questions to our key speakers today. So before I formally begin the session with the formal introduction of our key speakers, I just would like to, share the background of these talks. In fact, when the draft document of national education policy had, come out a few years back, even then we had gone to different cities. We had organized many interactions with many education leaders in different cities, and collectively we had shared hundreds of sessions with the MHRD, CBSE, and other stakeholders. So when this final policy was released in the last week of July, since then we have spoken with hundreds of educators, and we realized that at one side, this policy has raised enthusiasm, positivity among all these stakeholders. But at the same side, a lot of people are, apprehensive. They have doubt about the execution of this policy. So with that thought, we realized that we must invite all these stakeholders, leaders from school, higher education, from edtech, to this to a particular forum, and we must take their perspective in order to create a successful roadmap for the successful implementation of this policy. So with that thought, we had launched our first session on August 26th, and here we are today with our 137th session. So big thanks once again for joining us. Now I'll formally share my screen to formally introduce our key speakers. So please allow me to share my screen. So once again, I welcome you all to this very special session. As you know, that these sessions are being organized by India International Education Council and School Knowledge Solutions. India International Education Council is a not-for-profit organization which is working in the field of education. It has collaborators from 12 countries. It aims to create a better world through education. It is also building quality centers for elementary education, approachable for all kids. Finding best educational practices across the globe and find ways to implement those in Indian institutions is another goal of IIEC. It is also creating more awareness on hygiene and learning disabilities. It publishes a magazine called World Education Review and many other educational reports. It aims to build 100 chapters in different cities by 2022. It will soon open its membership for institutions and individuals. It also imparts training for leaders, teachers, students, and parents. As you know that this is our, so far we have conducted 136 sessions. We have received 16,378 registrations, 15,008 questions, and we have seen participation from 6 countries: India, US, Qatar, Saudi Arabia,
Hmm.
Nepal, and Kuwait. From India, we have seen participation from 22 states and 112 cities. We aim to organize minimum 200 sessions. With this, we would be reaching out to 100,000 educators, 20,000 institutions, and 1,000 plus eminent speakers like today's speakers would be joining us to share their perspective and thoughts on national education policy. Now, I would request you all, please join me in welcoming our key speakers for this very special session. Our first key speaker for this very special session, Millie Supriya ma'am. Millie ma'am is the principal with Jammu Sanskriti School, Kathua, Jammu and Kashmir. She's a charismatic leader with an over-increasing thirst to learn new things and reach higher milestones in life. She has worked in almost all operational and management positions. She has worked as principal with Mount Litra Z School, Kathua, Indian Public School, Kidzi, Kathua. She has been honored with the Bhishma Award for the most determined principal. She has also been awarded with the Certificate of Honor for National Clean India Activity Principal Award. She has also received the Nari to Narayani Samman 2021, the Certificate of Excellence for Valuable Contribution to Empowering Society. She has also received Acharya Chanakya Shikshavid Samman 2020, Certificate of Appreciation for Valuable Service rendered to Helpage India. She has attended All India Edu Leaders National Conference at Jammu. She has also attended 8th International Conference on Excellence in School Education held at IIT Delhi. She has also attended various capacity building programs on inclusion and inclusive strategies. We welcome you, Millie ma'am. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you, Rajan.
Welcome,
It is
ma'am.
definitely an honor for me as well. Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am. I'll come back to you. Thank you for joining. Our next key speaker, another very senior education leader, Yachina Chawla, ma'am. Yachina Chawla ji is principal with Prelude Public School, Agra, Uttar Pradesh. She has an MSc Chemistry and MAd. She's having an experience of 29 years in education. She's also worked as a PGT Chemistry in St. Thomas School, Ludhiana. And since 2002, she has been working as a principal. She has received a 21st Century Best Service Award by Government of India for the services of Vocational Rehabilitation Training Center for Blind in 2003. She has also received a Life Empowerment Award 2014-15. She has also received the International Education Innovator Award, Global Innovative Schools Award 2018 at BITS Planning. She has been recognized for leading the integration of international learning in the school by British Council. She has been appointed as Chief Nodal Supervisor, Observer for IEEE, City Coordinator for CTAT by CBSE in her tenure with various schools. In addition to this, she has been appointed as Inspection Committee Member by CBSE for affiliation of schools with CBSE. Welcome, Yachina ma'am. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you, Rijul. Thank you so much.
Welcome, ma'am. I'll come back to you. Thank you for joining. Our next speaker, another senior education leader, Dr. Suresh Kundurji. Dr. Suresh is the principal with Zero School, Hassan, Karnataka. He's a well-known education leader. He's done MA, B.Ed, PhD, Cambridge International Certificate for Teachers and Trainers. He's having 20 plus years of teaching experience and academic admin. This includes 8 years of international experience and from 2013-14 to till the date working as a principal. He can independently handle IGCSE, CIE, EdExcel, ICSE syllabus, curriculum schools. He can also independently handle school academic as well as administration. He has conducted a national level workshop for effective school leadership. He has worked with many prestigious schools like Billabong High International School, a representative of Maldives, Peria School, again representative of Republic of Maldives, Ministry of Education Maldives, Dharu Mavantha School, Male, Republic of Maldives. He has worked as a lecturer in geography in Depal International Residential School, Mysore, Karnataka, Varun International Residential School, Tumkur, Karnataka, Kaveri Public School, Mandya, Karnataka. He has received many prestigious awards like Best Teacher Award, Best Coordinator by Ministry of Education. He has been serving as a National Coordinator in Center for Educational Initiative and Research India. He has been elected as Secretary of School Principal Association in November 2018. We welcome you, Suresh sir. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And it's my honor to be a part of this webinar.
Welcome,
Thank you very much.
I'll come back to you. Welcome, sir.
Thank
Our
you.
next speaker, another very senior education leader, Dr. Indrajit Singh ji. Dr. Indrajit is the principal with Kendriya Vidyalaya, Dehradun, Uttarakhand. He has done a PhD, BA, MA in Economics, MA Sociology, and MA in Hindi. He has almost 3 decades of teaching experience. He has worked as a subject expert for CBSE 4 times. He has also participated as speaker at Vishwa Pustak Mela. He has received the Best Teacher Award by Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan. Also received a Vani Samman of Haridwar in the field of literature. Arambh Samman Gwalior. He was also selected as a block development officer under Lok Seva Ayog, Uttar Pradesh. We welcome you, Indrajit sir. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, Shivnaz Singh ji. Shivnaz ji is the principal with Skomia Academy, Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. He has decades of experience in teaching, administration, and management of school activities. He has been awarded and recognized for his contribution to the field of education many times. We welcome you, Shivnaz sir. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you. Our next speaker, Anand Kumar Tiwari sir. Anand sir is the former principal with the Innovative Academy, Azamgarh, Uttar Pradesh. He's a passionate educator with decades of experience in education. He has been awarded and recognized for his contribution to the field of education. We welcome you, Anand sir. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you. Our next speaker, another very senior EdTech leader, Jaswinder Singh ji. Jaswinder ji is the founder and CEO of Wordsworth ELT. He has an experience of 30 years in the field of education and technology and has also served as a consultant to UNESCO on education. Wordsworth English Lab is designed for India and is a highly research initiative of the ACT UNIF Group. It is a trusted education company with 2 decades of service in technology, education and training. Its expertise in technology, multimedia and content development has been instrumental in presenting a world-class language lab solution for academia in India. In a short span of time, Wordsworth English Language Lab has managed considerable recognition across the country for its unique content and methodology. Over 3,000 installations in institutions across the country stand a testimony of the quality in product, implementation, training, and continual service provided by the ACT UNIF and its committed network of dealers. We welcome you, Jaswinder sir. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you, Rajul.
Welcome, sir. And our last key speaker for this very, very special session, Mr. Xavier John. Xavier is the National Head of Quality with Torrens. Xavier is a professional musician, specifically a singer, songwriter, and guitarist. He's been performing since a very young age and has toured multiple cities performing in the various venues. He is also a gospel musician and has featured on multiple TV shows. He's currently working with Torrens Music and heading quality and delivery excellence in India. Since the past 8 years, he has been working with institutions engaged in vocational education, handling business development, strategy, and implementation. Xavier has been very vocal about making music a compulsory subject in schools as the creativity, discipline, and communication that it demands would help students become better individuals. Xavier has authored the vocal curriculum for Torrens and conducts vocal workshops across various schools. We welcome you, Xavier. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you. So with this, we come to the next part of the session. I would now invite our key speakers for their opening remark, and then I'll again come back to them for their main talk. So I would request first Millie Supriya ma'am, if you can have your quick 1-minute opening remark to set the tone of the session.
A very good afternoon to all the eminent edu leaders on this August forum. I'm looking forward to a real enriching experience today. So let's decode the NEP 2020 together. Thank you.
Thank you, Millie ma'am. I'll come back to you. Now I would request Yachana Chawla ma'am, if you can have your quick 1-minute opening remark.
Green after to all of you. First of all of you must be thinking of why I'm using green word. I want to share with you all that this word has been replaced and introduced by our worthy director, Dr. Sushil Gupta. As you know, green symbolizes peace, prosperity, and nature. And he is a great lover of nature that can be apparently seen in our school campus as well. And I request you all to take this trend ahead and spread greenery all over the globe. Next, I would like to congratulate Government of India as well as the committee who have worked hard for the larger enhancement of education of our country, and especially the commitment they have shown towards ECCE, which is my topic today. And I'm thankful to School Lalaji and India International Education Council for giving me this platform to share my views on NPE, especially NEP, especially on ECCE. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. We are equally excited with your presence and very eager to hear your ideas. I'll come back to you. Now, I would invite Dr. Suresh Kundur sir. Suresh sir, if you can have your opening remark. Sir, you are on mute.
Yes, sir. Thank you for giving me an opportunity in this NEP. When we consider when they are going to start, so we have a lot of confusions as well. But being an institution's leaders, we have to concentrate on many things. As you are aware that, so teaching in the 21st century is most important. So here, when it comes to expectation, challenges, and the solutions are the major task being a leaders when we discuss. So, and today's topic, I'm going to discuss about these, about the teaching in the 21st century, the expectations of parents as a student, as well as the main task, what their teachers are finding difficulties in this 21st century. I'm going to just have kind of a small brainstorming in this topic. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to take the part of this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Suresh sir. We'll come back to you for your valuable inputs on this important topic. Thank you for participation. Now I would request Indrajit sir.
Thank you.
Sir, if you carry out.
Thank you. At the outset, I would like to thank India International Education Council for organizing a wonderful session on National Education Policy 2020. Really, I am delighted and feel honored to be part of this session. Dear friends, I retired last year as principal from Kendriya Vidyalaya number 1, Dehradun. At present, I am in Moscow, Russia, with my wife, who is working as principal in Kendriya Vidyalaya, Embassy of India International School, Moscow, Russia. Dear friends, today I will share my views on expenditure on education as a component of GDP and some other issues of national education policy. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Indrajit sir. Sir, I attended a workshop just a few days back, and there was a school leader who said that, I have met a lot of school teachers, educators who have joined civil service, after joining teaching. But I haven't met even a single teacher in my life who has left the civil service, to join teaching as a profession. So after, reading your profile, I just wanted to call him and just say, like, sir, I found one. So we'll come back to you and we'll, if you can
Thank
quickly.
you. Thank you. Teaching is my actually, my teaching is my passion. Therefore,
Right.
I joined teaching. Actually, thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I went to your profile and I really, could sense that you are one of the, ideal for all of us, for especially a young educator like me and other people. So big thanks for joining, sir. Today, I'll come back to you.
My pleasure. My pleasure also. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just would like to check if we have the presence of Shivnath Singh, sir. Shivnath, sir, if we have your presence. Anand Kumar Tiwari, sir, if we have your presence. I would now request Jaswinder Singh, sir, if we can have your opening remark.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Sorry, it's still good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Very happy to be a part of this forum where we are going to discuss NEP 2020. But before me, we've had a wonderful talk about, a person talking about NEP. And when Rajul, you told me that Indrajit sir has left the civil services to be an educator, I have already made him my mentor, because that is what I'm talking about. We need to have people with passion coming into this industry. I myself started as an IT coder, and then I went into teaching, and I know how satisfying this career is. And when you sleep in the night, you actually see all your students again, and you feel so happy, and you're very fresh the next morning. Dealing and working with kids itself is blessing that Almighty gives us when we put in our heart and passion into education. Okay, so coming on to this point, I come from the EdTech background, education and technology. So during today's session, I'm going to talk about how technology can be leveraged to help and support teachers deliver what they have to do, and there is a lot of change. Like I come from a company which is known as Wordsworth Language Lab. We are into language implementation in schools across the country. Indrajit sir, all KVs across India are using this product. I suppose they are going to send it to all the other schools outside India. But I'm going to focus more on what NEP 2020 has got in store for languages. What are they talking about teaching in local language? What is going to happen to English? And what should actually be the way forward? So that's what I'm going to work on. And if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer. Over to you, Rajulji. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll come back to you for your detailed perspective. Now, I would request Savio. Savio, if we can have your opening remark.
Very good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Rajulji, for having me over. The NEP speaks about arts, classics, literature, music, and how we all know that compared to the 1986 NPE, this time the NEP has mentioned over 20 times only about music. And I would be speaking on the importance of music and how we can add value to the lives of students through music while keeping in line with the NEP. And I look forward to the rest of this discussion. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Savio, for joining. I'll come back to you for detailed perspective. Now, with this, we come to the next part of the session, which is the main talk session. I'll be coming back to all our key speakers for their detailed perspective. But before I invite our first speaker, I just would like to share the learnings which we have had during our last 136 sessions. You know, during our last 136 sessions, almost all the participants shared that this is a wonderful document. This document has a potential to place India at that coveted position of Vishwa Gyan Guru, if executed well. Yes, almost same number of participants shared their apprehension that execution is going to be very much challenging. Not impossible, but hugely challenging because document is so ambitious. A lot of people shared that teachers training is going to be a key concern area. Many people shared, yes, teachers training is going to be a key concern area, but teachers, lack of intent among teachers is going to be a bigger concern area. Many people who participated shared that, you know, good schools in urban areas already implementing many of these ideas. So biggest challenge would be for government schools, rural schools, and budget schools. Many participants, many senior educators, during a previous session also shared their assessment that this pandemic has exposed the poor infrastructure of digital infrastructure, poor distribution of a digital infrastructure. And that is going to be a big challenge. So I would request all our key speakers today that while sharing your perspective on NEP, if you can also share your thoughts or some suggestion or some idea or some best practice which you have been implementing in your school. So that would make this session more useful for all of us. We can learn from each other and, it would become more engaging. So now with this, I would request all our key speakers, for the time limit as well, one speaker will get 8 to 10 minutes maximum. So please keep the time limit in mind so that we have sufficient time in the end for the questions. Right. So with this, I would invite our first speaker, Millie Supriya ma'am. Millie ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, dear. Once again, a very good afternoon to all the eminent edu leaders on this August forum. Firstly, would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to School Lalaji and India International Education Council for having extended this opportunity to me. Decoding the NEP 2020 would like to begin with a famous quote. Education is not filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. NEP 2020 seems to be both dynamic and futuristic. It is a paradigm shift. Please understand, it's a paradigm shift from creating clones to nurturing holistic individuals with 21st century skills, values, and knowledge, which is not confined to a few textbooks, but it is limitless. पढ़ाई जो कुछ किताबों तक सीमित ना रहकर उन्मुख गगन में उड़ते हुए उस बेखौफ पंछी की तरह हो जिसका आशियाना पूरा आसमान है. Now, the fundamental principles of the policy NEP 2020 to recognize, identify, and foster the unique capabilities of each student. कोई संगीत में अच्छा है, कोई नृत्य में अच्छा है, कोई लेखक बनना चाहता है तो कोई विज्ञान में रुचि लगता है, लेकिन नॉलेज तो सबको है. इसीलिए as educators हमारे लिए ये जानना जरूरी है कि उस बच्चे का हुनर क्या है. The highest priority to achieve literacy and numeracy skills. जरूरी है कि हर बच्चा तीसरी कक्षा से पहले acquire करे literacy और numeracy skills. Flexibility, so that learners have the freedom to choose their learning trajectories. They may have the liberty to pursue their choice of subject combinations. They have to have the freedom. Until and unless they are the masters of their knowledge, how would they ever pursue anything? They may simply pursue their field of interest. We need to break away with the monotony of streams such as humanities, sciences, and many more. Emphasis on competency-based education system based on the pedagogy of experiential learning rather than rote learning and memorization. Encouraging participation of learners to attain knowledge or inquiry-based learning. क्योंकि मेरा ये मानना है कि जहाँ सवाल नहीं होते और वहाँ कोई जवाब भी नहीं होते, और जहाँ ये दोनों नहीं होते वहाँ कोई लर्निंग भी नहीं होती. We have to encourage questions, engage learners, spark curiosity, and this would automatically lead to knowledge. जब हम बच्चे थे तो कितने क्वेश्चंस पूछते थे. चांद गोल क्यों है? तारे टिमटिमाते क्यों हैं? When Wright brothers invented the first powered, sustained and controlled airplane, when Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the telephone, it was their curiosity that led to milestone discoveries. It was their ability to think critically. Their knowledge was multidimensional and holistic. They integrated art, sports, technology to reach to a particular learning outcome. The policy further states that language should never be a barrier. Rather, it should be an ease. It is a tool for effective communication. Hence, the policy promotes multilingualism and emphasizes on the power of language in teaching and learning. Life skills. Imbibing or cultivating life skills among students or children can be traced back to almost primitive times when man acquired life skills such as teamwork, problem solving, cooperation, so as to even hunt and eat. How can we deprive of imparting life skills at this particular stage? The NEP promotes students to inculcate ethics and human and constitutional values, to imbibe cultural diversity and be secular in nature. Love for our country, passion for our motherland is something that needs to be nurtured within every man of the soil. The rich heritage of ancient and eternal Indian knowledge has been guiding light for this policy. The pursuit of knowledge, Gyan, wisdom, Pragya, and truth, Satya, was always considered in India as the highest human goal. Why are we now deviating from it? Focus on regular formative assessments for learning and extensive use of technology for teaching and learning, I think, is the most required need of the hour. And had the technology not been there in these trying and testing times of COVID-19 pandemic, the entire system would have collapsed. Here, I would also like to give an example. बहुत बारी हमारे बच्चों को हमारे मोबाइल के कुछ ऐसे फीचर्स के बारे में पता होता है जिनके बारे में शायद हमें भी नहीं पता होता. They love to play video games. They love to achieve those small targets and acquire rewards. They love going on to the next level and they love playing again and again. To teach them through stories, games, puzzle, concept maps is to basically attain learning through creativity. Now, a quick understanding of the key features of NEP 2020. Universalization of education from preschool to secondary level with 100% gross enrollment ratio in school by 2035. That's a welcome move. To bring 2 crore out-of-school children back into the mainstream through an open schooling system. The current 10+2 system to be replaced by a new 5+3+3+4 curricular structure corresponding to age groups 3 to 8, 8 to 11, 11 to 14, and 14 to 18 years respectively. The most crucial years, that is, the foundation years or the 3 to 6 years to be brought under school curriculum, which is most important. After all, अगर नींव नहीं होगी तो इमारत कैसे खड़ी होगी? Class 10th and 12th board examination to be made easier. Somewhere or the other, children are being pressurized. Rather they should be tested on core competencies with even the leverage to take exams twice. Vocational education to start class 6th with internships. Wow, isn't that wonderful? Teaching up to at least grade 5th to be in mother or regional language. No language should be imposed upon the child. Assessment reforms with 360-degree holistic progressive card, tracking student progress for achieving learning outcomes, assessment at 4 levels such as self-assessment, peer assessment, assessment by teachers, and assessment by parents. The most encouraging or the best practice would be creating an academic bank of credits to be established to facilitate transfer of credits. Such a welcoming moves. In the end, would just like to state that let's contribute together to build a new education system that will definitely contribute directly in transforming our nation sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society. Thank you.
Thank you, Millie ma'am, for sharing these wonderful ideas and thoughts. You began by saying that flexibility which is being offered in terms of studying subjects, the policy that is going to create children. You also talked about why educators need to encourage curiosity and questions, from students, and how it is going to empower those students. You also talked about the importance of life skills, and this NEP has also focused upon that area. You also talked about when you shared your assessment that NEP is giving a NEP has a focus to promote rich Indian heritage. Many other educators have also shared similar views. You also talked about the importance of extensive use of technology, and we must encourage that. You also talked about that, where NEP is talking about these board exams easier, how it is going to help students in exploring other areas. And then you touched upon the importance of those elements of this policy like vocational education, assessment, and how the different aspects, the integration of different aspects of assessment like peer assessment, the involvement of parents, self-assessment is going to change the face of Indian education. So thank you, Millie ma'am, for joining and sharing these wonderful points. I'll be coming back to you with questions. Thank you.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, with this, I would request Yashika ma'am, if you can have your ideas, your thoughts.
Green afternoon once again to all of you, and thank you, Mr. Raju, for giving me this opportunity. For me, the theme is the Early Childhood Care National Challenge with Global Perspective, Setting the Stage. So this is ECCE. What I want to share the challenges, what the whole country will face. First of all, I would like to start, मेरे देश का बचपन कहीं लापता है, ये तुमको पता है, ये हमको पता है, चलो मिलके ढूंढे इसे, अगर मिलके ढूंढेंगे तो मिल जाएगा ये तुमको पता है, ये मुझको पता है. So in ECCE, I will not repeat the points, whatever has been included in the new national education policy, which we have got after 34 of years. I just want to thank the government that they have included in this structure children of the age of 3 years onwards. In the system of 10+2, what we are having in the present system in school education, now the new system has been modified with the new pedagogical and curricular restructuring of 5+3+3+4 covering ages 3 to 18. And ECCE will include the age group of 3 to 8. All of us know this education system, as all of us have read it thoroughly and all of us have attended many of the webinars to attend this. So all of us by the time have understood that over 85% of a child's cumulative brain development occurs prior to the age of 6. And this system, if we think over the whole NEP, it is India's centered education system. All of you know our Indian culture has given phenomenal human beings in ancient India. Why? Because at that time, the education system was not confined to learning. However, it was for the enhancement of human being. So if Indian education system, what was there in ancient system, in ancient India, if we adopt that, I think all the children will get good education, quality education. So as far as ECC is concerned, it is flexible, multifaceted, multi-level, play-based, activity-based, inquiry-based, comprising of alphabet, language, numbers, counting, colors, shapes, indoor and outdoor, play, puzzles, and logical thinking. It also includes a focus on developing social capacities, sensitivity, good behavior, courtesy, ethics, personal and public cleanliness, teamwork, and cooperation. The overall aim of ECC will be to attain optimal outcomes in the domains of physical and motor development, cognitive development, socio-emotional, ethical development, cultural artistic development, and the development of communication and early language literacy and numeracy. Now I want to share with you all the challenges which we will be facing. As we all have studied the structure of ECCE, so we know by 2030, this is cooperation with the cooperation of all state governments, literacy and numeracy will be given to the age group of 8 years. A national curriculum framework for ECC is laudable, but the question is, it is imperative that a common guideline and goals should be drafted, and state governments should not have the power to deviate from these essentials, as it is not fair for young children in different states to get a different head start in life. Then a preparatory class Bal Vatika in Anganwadis for 4 to 5 years of children will be there. As we all know that according to the structure of ECCE, Anganwadis will be strengthened. They will be given good infrastructure. They will be well lit. They will be given opportunities for the children, those who are enrolled there. There are different kinds of Anganwadis. All of you must have read that stand-alone Anganwadis are there. Anganwadis of primary schools are there. So the question is, the Anganwadis, will they be promoted till class 2? Will they be allowed to have class 2 with them? And will the government will help them to extend their education pattern to class 2? So next is a welcome initiative is the National Foundation of Literacy and Numeracy Mission. Hope that literacy would include first and second languages, and an earnest hope that numeracy designed by the foundation should be found in the curriculum and textbooks used by the schools. It is said that National Foundation of Literacy and Numeracy, they will be selecting the curriculum, they will be framing the curriculum in 2 subgroups, one for 0 to 3 and one for 3 to 8. Now for 0 to 3, that curriculum will be helpful for the parents. And I must say that parents should be educated. The schools have this responsibility for the orientation of the parents. Parents must be told how to deal with the children of 0 to 3 and how to deal with the children of age 3 to 8. Then it is said in NEP that there will be 4-year integrated B.Ed degree by 2030. What about ECE? Now, according to ECCE, which is there in NEP, it is said that the teachers or the trainers who are there in Anganwadi, whose qualification is less than 10+2, they have to do a certificate course. And the educators or the trainers of Anganwadis who have qualification more than 10+2, they will have 1-year diploma course. So the schools like us, the public schools, my question is, and I want to know, what about the teachers who are working in pre-primary classes, who are working for nursery, LKG, UKG, and some of them, many of them are already B.Ed and MTT. Will the government will give some structured plan to enhance their knowledge or to have some special training? Then as we have read in NEP, PERC, the National Assessment Center, that will be selecting the assessment pattern for all the classes. So the challenge is for ECCE also, will there be any assessment pattern? And if it is there, if the training, if the assessment pattern will be there by the government with the help of the state government, then when that planning will be started, when the teachers will be trained, when the schools will be trained, especially the teachers, those who are working in public schools like us. We all are having this system of 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. In our schools, pre-primary classes are there, like nursery, LKG and UKG. And all the public schools have their good practices. They are implementing very good practices. And in NEP also it is said that international and national good practices will be introduced and will be shared with all the trainers. Then National Curriculum and Pedagogical Framework for Early Childhood Care and Education for children up to age 8. It is a welcome move, and all of us are helpful that states will ensure the implementation of the same and thus remove the traditional, formal, stressful curriculums being followed by many preschools. I want to share that training of the teachers is a must. That is the first and foremost requirement to implement this new structure of ECCE. So another challenge is, it is said that mother tongue, the children will be taught in mother tongue. So I want to know this, because many educators are there. I hope they will be sharing their knowledge about this. मदर टंग इज अ गुड मूव. इट इज सेड दैट माँ, मातृभूमि और मातृभाषा का कोई विकल्प नहीं होता. दैट इज गुड. बट इन सिटीज वेयर मल्टीपल लैंग्वेज चिल्ड्रन आर इन द सेम क्लास, which language will the teacher teach in? And there are some families where mother belongs to different state and father is from some other state, or mother or father is from some other country. So what type of language that category of children will be taught, and how the teacher will teach? Then schools, State School Standard Authority and transparent public self-disclosure of all the basic regulatory information as laid down by SSSA will be used extensively for public oversight and accountability. The SCRT will develop a school quality assessment and accreditation, as I have said earlier. But what about ECE? And the most, I think, the main doubt is for the public schools, which type of education system they will adopt, because already public schools are doing their best. Teacher education is very important in this. So I must share with you all that the candidates or the future aspirants for teaching education, those who demonstrate anger and stress and jealousy and comparison and discrimination in the classes, they should not be given this opportunity. And whosoever agency will train them, they should tell them that inner peace is very important, and to maintain their social health, mental health, physical health, the teachers should be trained rigorously. And for this, we can go for the training pattern of our ancient India. Actually, what I think that every child has the essential intelligence to live this life fully. Only we have to guide the child, only we have to give him loving atmosphere. If we see the young kids of pre-primary classes, what they need the most, they need love of the teacher. And if the teacher is not loving, the whole atmosphere of the class will be spoiled and the children will not learn anything. These are the formative years. These are the foundation classes. If the foundation will be stronger, naturally the children will be confident, and our India, हमारा भारत जो है, उसको अभी confident citizens का जरूरत है, और इस globe को भी confident citizens की जरूरत है. I would like to share with you all. मैं बहुत stories पढ़ती हूँ. So once I was reading a story about विनोबा भावे जी. ये story नहीं, actually में reality है. विनोबा भावे जी जो थे वो वीक में एक बारी मौन व्रत रखते थे. तो जब वो मौन व्रत रखते थे तो किसी से बात नहीं करते थे, बट पीपल फ्रॉम डिफरेंट पार्ट्स ऑफ द कंट्री यूज्ड टू कम टू हिम एंड यूज्ड टू आस्क हिम क्वेश्चंस. So I'll take it rapidly because I know that my time will be over. So once a group of people came to him, those who were from the educated, so-called educated, literate background, and another group was there, those who were from the village. So उन्होंने कहा कि विनोबा भावे जी को कहा कि भारत बनाना है, भारत बनाना है। तो विनोबा भावे जी ने उनको एक पिक्चर दे दी, दोनों ही ग्रुप्स को एक पिक्चर दे दी। तो उन्होंने ये जब पिक्चर को लिटरेट वाले ग्रुप ने जब ज्वाइन किया तो वो कुछ नहीं बना सके, और वो जो विलेज से लोग आए थे उन्होंने उसको जब बनाया तो वो भारत का नक्शा बन गया। तो उन्होंने कहा ये इंसान बनाने की बात थी, अगर हमने भारत में इंसान को बनाना है तो आपको भारत बनाना पड़ेगा, जिसके लिए कि आपको एनिशिएंट एजुकेशन सिस्टम अडॉप्ट करना पड़ेगा। So in this ECCE, health cards are very important and health checkups are also very important. That is a good move, but that should not be confined to the health card and monthly checkups. That should be, the importance should be given. We have to teach our children at pre-primary level only that they have to take care of their health from the very beginning. This I wanted to say, and there are so many other points, but I will not take much time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Yachana ma'am, for sharing these valuable points. You shared the key highlights from NEP on the PCC part. You also shared
challenges. I have taken challenges.
Yeah, you've also talked about those key challenges. Be it I'm going to share all those things. You also you began by sharing the importance of the attention Anganwadis has received, and a lot of other educators have also talked about is that the attention this NEP has given the training for Anganwadi workers. So that is going to create a lot of impact. But yes, you also talked about the a bit challenges of that part, which needs more clarity. You also talked about the importance of why parents need to be trained. They need to be taught about the importance of these early years. In fact, after talking to so many educators so far, we strongly believe that one big achievement this NEP has already done, that it has created that mass awareness about the importance of those early years. Now, a lot of people are talking about it. Now one very common phrase among people is 85% brain development happens in early first 6 years. People are commonly recognizing the importance of those early years. You also mentioned the importance of Parak, how it is going to create impact. But at the same time, you also talked about the I would say missing part, missing connection, like who is going to assess those early years learners. You also talked about that NEP is talking about identifying international national best practices and to be shared, same practices to be shared with trainers. And then you shared a one very important assessment that we need to create confident cities, and only confident citizens can build a confident nation. So we need to certainly create a very strong ecosystem for that. NEP has given us a hope in that direction. And in the end, you talked about that NEP is focused on that health, and a lot of people have also the emotional well-being is also being talked about NEP. So that that is somewhere taking us towards that holistic development of our learners. So big thanks, Yachana ma'am, for sharing these valuable points. I'll come back to you with questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now with this, I would request your perspective. Sir, you are on mute.
Yeah, Ashwini?
Yeah.
Thank you. Good evening once again. I'm really delighted to be here in front of this August gathering. With your permission, I take this opportunity to share some of my views about teaching in the 21st century, that is expectation, the challenges, and the solution, with a special regard to this topic, teaching in the 21st century. And I would like to thank you for Lalaji Schools and India International Education Council for giving me this great opportunity to share my view. See, as you are aware that our modern day education is drastically different from education of the past. So now from Gurukula to present, we can see a lot of changes. But today's schools are at the forefront of the technology, the computers, projects, internet, and other technological tools being a common places in classroom. But it was difficult to see in the earlier age. But these tools are helping the students to access a diversity of information and have changed the way we are perceive the education is important to the student. So, dear viewers, here one thing we would like to show when it comes to an expectation, there are three categories we can divide as a parent, as a teacher, and as a student. See, the parents are the primary teachers of moral and ethical values. But we have to think, does we have as a parent? Because these values and attitudes will help to develop our child a moral compass and act as a guiding force to make a wise choices, the global education to prepare the children for a life. So we have to prepare the children for a life. And as a parents, what they expect, ability to get along with the others and be a responsible. They wanted their children to be tolerant of people in differences, to become a problem solvers and to be a creative more, and moreover, they want to go with the critical thinkers. So our nation depends on the activities of the teachers. Correct? So identically, they are working to grow basement of the students, no matter is it school, college, or university. A qualified teacher is the builder of a student. So before we start, I'll take only 1 minute of this time. We need to ask few questions among ourselves. Are our students are really ready for life? Are our students able to think behind the immediate? Are our students going to be employable when they go into the real world? Will our students have a basic life skills to survive and succeed in the real world? See, these are some important questions when we ask ourselves, we can think over about the past, present, and the future. So whether it was a Marx oriented, present, what we are, so we have to go with the skill based learning. This national education policy is also inculcating the skill based education for the society. In that cases, we should see about when we come modern students, they think what type of educations also they require. And when we define ourselves as a teaching and learning as a different view, the term teaching sometimes it's a generally used to refer to certain core competences such as a collaboration, digital literacy, critical thinking, and problem solving, which need to be developed to help students to thrive in the today's world. But learning in the 21st century, what it says, the accumulations of knowledge, work habit, and soft skills. See, the difference we can go, learning is different and teaching is different. So when we mix these two together, the teaching and learning in 21st century, we can make our world better actually, to making a good global citizen in the world. There are 12 key skills we can call as a 21st century. So generally, that skills also can be, we can easily divide three broad categories, which we call as a learning skills, literacy skills, and life skills. What exactly this learning skill says? It teaches students about the mental process required to adapt and improve upon a modern work environment. Then what exactly the literacy skill says? Focus on how students can discern of facts publishing outlets and the technology behind them. There is a strong focus on determining trustworthy sources and a factual information to separate in form of misinformation that floats the internet. And life skills also very important, takes a look into incredible elements of students' everyday life. So when 21st century skills, when we take about the learning skills, it depends on four C's. Because of due to time shortage, I am not going to explain everything. I just give you a small indent in that what we can. So when it comes to the learning skills, dear friends, there are four C's I can say, that is critical thinking. Just you can say find the solution to the problems. That's it. Then what about creative thinking? Just make the students to thinking outside the box. Then collaboration, work with others. Then communication, talking to others. So it all comes in the learning skills with the four important. Then when it comes to skills, when the critical, creative, collaboration and communication skills, so it depends how we interact with the student. So I can say one or two examples with the critical thinking. So we must provide an opportunity for playing, testing how things work informally, are crucial to develop a critical thinking. And you just being a teacher, you just pause and wait. Don't influence immediately. Ask open-ended questions and help children to develop the hypothesis. Encourage thinking in new and different ways. So if we could implement these in the classroom, no, definitely the child will make himself as a critical thinker. But it depends on everything about the teachers. Then collaborating, that is also most important in the 21st century skills, and it is the art of working with someone to create, produce something. Then we can ask one question, how we can encourage collaboration among the students. Establish group goals, keep groups among small sizes like 4 to 5 members, establish kind of a flexible group norms, build trust and promote open communication, use different strategies, and establish a group interactions to set role and function, and use real world problems. See, when we implement these with the students now, yes, of course, we can build a kind of a good skills in the students. Then the 21st century, as I told you, the second is a literary skills. Sometimes we call them as a IMT skills. Then what exactly is IMT skills? So before that one, traditionally literacy skills, there is one awareness of the sounds and language, awareness of print, the relationship between letters and sounds, vocabulary, spelling, comprehension. So these we can say as a traditional literary skills. And in that one, when literary skills comes from, that is, as I told you, IMT, that is information literacy, media literacy, and technology literacy. So what does mean this information literacy? The student should understand the facts, figure, statistics, and data. Then media literacy, understanding the methods and the outlets in the which information is published. Then technology literacy, understanding the machines that make the information age possible. So when it comes to an information literacy, students are consumers of information and students as producers of information we have to consider. Then IMT, media literacy, there are many internet like blogs, tweets, ebooks, Facebook, YouTube, Skype, webinars, gaming. So these are media literacy will involve understanding in many ways that information is produced and distributed. Then technology industry is very, very important nowadays in the 21st century, as seen exponential the growth in the technology, and the changes we have witnessed in the past decade surpass the changes. But how it surpass the changes is most important when teachers work on that. And you can say how to introduce this IMT literacy skills in the classes. That is very important for a teachers. You better one, what I can say, plan research or pose a question, then organize a way to search for the answer. You can divide the students into different groups, then find the resources, then evaluate the resource and think critically about them, then express the information learned in the meaningful way. So if we could introduce these IMT literacy skills in the class, definitely the students will learn a different types of skills. Then life skills. This is very, very important. Sometimes we call them as a flip skills. That means flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, social. If we could introduce these life skills or inculcate in the students, definitely the child can become a good global citizen in this world. So flexibility, just you can say, dividing from a plans as needed. Leadership is a motivating a team to accomplish a goal, then initiating what I can say, a starting projects, strategies, and plans on owns productivity, maintaining efficiency in an age of distraction, social skills, that is meeting and networking with others for mutual benefits. So these we can say as a flips in the skills the teachers must implement in the classes. Then remaining if you comes to teaching in the 21st century, that is challenges and solution. That is most important actually. As you are aware that a modern institution should consider the creations of learner center, a classroom environment to engage modern students. Like game-based learning and simulations are helping learners visualize complex concepts. This trend is becoming increasingly popular and is an obvious expectation of the student. So here, the teachers maximum as well as parents face the challenges. What prominent challenges are faced by the teacher in this 21st century? That is, major is personalization. Second is making the right use of technology, classroom management, curriculum, global awareness, learning and involving skills. If they could concentrate on these prominent challenges, definitely a teacher could do a lot more in the 21st century teaching and learning field. Then let me come to a general as a public, as a parent, prominent education. I can say these things as an educational challenges faced by the teachers as well as parents in the 21st century. That is, I can say mindfulness, singularity, terrorism, sustainability. See, these four, if you just take out from the world. So definitely we can make our students a good global citizen and he can survive his life anywhere in the world if they have considering his 4 CCs, CS, again the IMT skills as well as and the flip skills. These are the major. So along with that one, actually we don't have much time. Let me come to a conclusion, dear viewers and my dear friends. As a teacher, it is imperative that we set the stage for students in our class to understand, imbibe, and internalize the 21st century skills in word and spirit. So when they enter the world, they are ready for every challenges that comes their way. It is also very important that as a teachers, we practice what we preach. Our world too is going to be very, very different. And much sooner than we think, we need these new age skill as much as our students do. So, according to in conclusion, our 21st century teaching and learning have improved by far compared to 20th. The students will have a bright future if they can adapt to the latest learning situation through creating multiple way of learning. Social challenges and globalization are always changing and affecting our education system. Dear friends, therefore, if the teachers know the positive and negative thought out, it can be known how to adjust to the students' beliefs and also their learning abilities. The future in education will just keep enhancing and preparing the students for the future. And the last word I would like to tell my teachers and friends, see, the trust in the incredible power which is hidden in you, you just find out. So definitely you can shine like a star and you can make the students to shine in their future. So it's all depend on in our mode, or feast I can say. So dear teachers and educators, if we consider this teaching and learning in this 21st century, if we follow, so I would be really happy so that we could achieve more than what we think. So thank you, Lala School, and as well as the Indian International Education Council for giving me the best opportunity to share my views in this. Oh, thank you very much. So I'm really happy to receive any kind of questions regarding these skills, 21st century skills. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Raju.
Thank you, Suresh sir. For I would say presenting a template before us. How our teachers can empower themselves for the 21st age of teaching. You began by highlighting the importance of skill-based education with this NEPs, talking about a lot of educators have emphasized the importance of this particular intervention. You also talked about the importance, and you explained those 4 important C's. And a lot of educators in the previous session have also talked about these importance of these important 4 elements. And you explained these elements, why educators need to inculcate these 21st age skills among our students. And then you also emphasize upon the importance of creating an environment where teachers encourage students for asking questions. And that is one simple thing which we have not been doing for years. We have not been encouraged to ask questions. If we are asking questions, so we are put into that category of, you are creating nuisance and, you are disturbing the entire class. So now formally people have recognized to break that kind of convention. So you also talked about, and you coined the term, you explained the importance of IMT literacy, information, medium and technology.
Mediality and the technological. Yes, sir.
And how it is going to create the impact. You explained them these 3 important points in a wonderful way. And then you also talked about why we need to inculcate those important life skills, be it flexibility, leadership, social skills. We have been teaching our kids that, get good grades and you'll get a good career. But once they come out of our education institutions, colleges and schools, they get to know that, life demands something else. Life demands leadership. Life demands flexibility. Life demands, assessment. There are a lot of other skills which need to be learned and to be taught. You explained those things. And then in the end, you talked about the challenges and you offered a solution from your side for the modern age teachers, be it personalization or use of technology or classroom management, among others. So, you a lot of educators have asked this question during our last sessions, that how we can prepare ourselves for the modern age learners or new age learners. You presented a solution for that question. Whatever you explained, by following these things, they can empower themselves, they can empower their learners eventually. So big thanks to Ishar for sharing these things. I'll be coming back to you with questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
And now I would invite Dr. Indrajit Singh, sir. Sir, I would request if we can have your ideas. And I just would like to check if Anand Tiwari sir has joined us. Anand Tiwari sir, have you joined us? Do we have your presence? You also raised your hand, Anand Tiwari sir? No. So Indrajit sir, over to you. You are on mute, sir. Indrajit sir, you are on mute.
Thank you, Rajul ji. Thank you very much. Dear friends, I would start the motto of Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, which was derived Isavas Upanishad, Mantra 15. Hiranyamayan Patrein Satya Sapitam Mukham Tattvam Pushan Apavrin Satya Dharmaye Drishtay. It means the face of truth is covered by the golden vessel. O Pushan, uncover it for the vision of truthful dharma. यानी हिंदी में इसका जो अनुवाद है, मैं एज ए प्रिंसिपल बच्चों को हमेशा बताता था कि सत्य का मुख सुनहरे पात्र से ढका हुआ है। हे पूषण, पूषण का मतलब यहाँ सूर्य से है। हे सूर्य देव, हे पूषण देव, इस आवरण को हटाइए जिससे कि हम सत्य के दर्शन कर सकें। तो एक टीचर्स की जो भूमिका है वो हमेशा सूर्य की ही होती है, दिनकर की ही होती, पूषण की ही होती है। उसको वो सारे आवरण हटाने हैं, वो अज्ञान हटाना है जो बच्चों की आंखों में है, बच्चों की दृष्टि में है, और उस विजन को लाने के लिए, सच्चे विजन को लाने के लिए हमें ऐसा करना चाहिए। अभी मैंने 3 स्पीकर्स को सुना, मिली जी, चावला मैडम और डॉक्टर सुरेश जी, वंडरफुल स्पीकर। राजू साहब, बहुत बहुत आपको मैं कांग्रेचुलेशन देता हूँ, कितने अच्छे स्पीकर्स को सुनने का मौका मिला मुझे। रियली एक अच्छा टीचर क्या है, मैं पहले, अभी आपने जिक्र किया था कुछ अच्छे एक्सपीरियंस बताए जाएं, तो एक अच्छे टीचर्स की पहचान क्या है। मैं हमेशा अपने टीचर्स को कहता हूं कि आप जब क्लास में जाएं तो आपका लेसन कैसा होना चाहिए। पहली बात तो आपका चेहरा मुस्कुराता हो, आप जब क्लास में जाएं तो बच्चे वैसे ही खिल जाएं, उनके चेहरे वैसे ही खिल जाएं जैसे सूर्य को देख करके सुबह सुबह सारे फूल मुस्कुराते हैं, पक्षी चहचहाते हैं। वैसी स्थिति, ऐसे ही पर्सनालिटी टीचर्स की होनी चाहिए क्लास में। ये मेरा अपना व्यक्तिगत मानना है। मुस्कुराता हुआ चेहरा जरूर होना चाहिए। और आपका लेसन कैसा हो, उसमें 3 बातें मैं अक्सर कहता हूं अपने टीचर से। 1, कि आपका लेसन नए अखबार की तरह होना चाहिए जिसे हर कोई पढ़ना चाहे। आपका लेसन नए गीत की तरह होना चाहिए जिससे हर कोई सुनना चाहे। और आपका लेसन नई फिल्म की तरह होना चाहिए जो हर विद्यार्थी, हर प्राणी जो उसे देखना चाहे। अगर ये सारी चीजें हैं तो मुझे लगता है कि आप एक अच्छे टीचर्स हैं। और अभी सुरेश भाई ने बहुत सी बातें कही, उसमें क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग, एम्पैथी, बहुत सी सारी उन्होंने लाइफ स्किल्स की बात की, विच आर सजेस्टेड बाय द वर्ल्ड हेल्थ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। देयर आर 10 लाइफ स्किल्स विच आर सजेस्टेड बाय द WHO। एक लाइफ स्किल एम्पैथी है जो मुझे लगता है बच्चों को क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग के साथ साथ, क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग के साथ साथ एम्पैथी भी बहुत जोर। मैं क्योंकि मॉस्को में हूँ इस समय, और यहाँ के एक बड़े मशहूर लेखक हुए हैं चेखव। प्रेमचंद को हम लोग उपन्यास सम्राट कहते हैं। तो उनसे पूछा गया, जब वो अपने जमाने में 1925 के आसपास जब वो उपन्यास सम्राट बन चुके थे, तो लोगों ने उनसे पूछा, लेखकों ने और उनके चाहने वालों ने, कि हु इज योर रोल मॉडल। तो उन्होंने कहा, सब आई लाइक वेरी मच चेखव, क्योंकि उनकी कहानियों में एम्पैथी होती है, उनकी कहानियों में बहुत छोटी कहानियां होती हैं। तो मैं एक छोटी कहानी चेखव की, राजू साहब इजाजत देंगे तो मैं सुनाऊं?
सर प्लीज।
जी 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 जी, बहुत छोटी कहानी है, तो मुझे लगता है एम्पैथिक कहानी है। और मैं रूस की धरती पे हूँ तो मुझे लगता है कहानी और भी रेलेवेंट है, क्योंकि चेखव यहीं के हैं और आज से करीब 100 साल से ज्यादा ही हो गया इस कहानी को। कहानी है दुख। एक बूढ़ा जो लगभग 70 साल की उम्र है, और वो मास्को की सड़कों के ऊपर खड़ा हुआ है अपने तांगे को लेकर, जैसे हिंदुस्तानी जबान में तांगे लेकर इंतजार कर रहा है सवारी का। तो उसी दौरान एक 45-50 साल का एक अधेड़ व्यक्ति आता है और वो कहता है, चलो बाबा लेके चलो। खैर यहाँ भी थोड़ी बार्गेनिंग होती रही होगी, तो उसमें लिखा हुआ है कि थोड़ी बार्गेनिंग की उसने, और उसके बाद कहा, ओके गो हेड, मुझे लेके चलो। तो जैसे ही वो तांगे पे वो सवारी बैठती, जिसकी उम्र लगभग 45-50 के बीच है, तो थोड़ी दूर जैसे ही इक्का आगे लेके जाता है, तांगा लेके जाता है, वो पीछे मुड़ के, वो कोचवान जो है, जो बूढ़ा व्यक्ति है, 70-72-75 साल का है, वो पीछे मुड़ के देखता है और उससे कहता है, बाबूजी आपको मालूम है, अभी 3-4 दिन पहले ही मेरा जवान बेटा जो 20-22 साल का था, वो गुजर गया, उसकी डेथ हो गई। अब इतना ही कहता है कि सामने से जिस सड़क पर वो तांगा चला रहा है, सामने से कुछ सवारियां जो पैदल चल रही हैं, वो घोड़े का मुंह थोड़ा एक आध किसी पैसेंजर को लग जाता है जो पैदल जा रहे हैं, तो वो नाराज होते हैं, जो लोकल पैदल जाने वाले हैं वो गाली देते हैं उसे, भाई जरा देख के चलाओ, ऊपर चढ़ा दोगे क्या। ऐसे में जो सवारी बैठी वो भी घबरा जाती, वो भी कहती भाई जरा देख के चलाओ। और जब आगे देखता है कि जब कुछ समय बाद सड़क बिल्कुल सोनी खाली हो गई है, फिर वो अपने दुख को शेयर करना चाहता है, फिर वो पीछे मुड़ के देखता है और कहता है बाबूजी, इतना ही कहता देखता है कि वो तो सो गया है, जो सवारी है वो सो गई है, अब वो उसको उठाए कैसे। वो अपने दुख को बेचारा अपने मन में ही रख के बैठ जाता है। कहते हैं कि दुख बांटने से घटता है, लेकिन उसका दुख घट नहीं पा रहा। एक तो उतना बड़ा दुख कि जवान बेटा चला गया, क्योंकि शोले फिल्म में एक डायलॉग आता है कि सबसे वो एक ही अंकल कहते हैं कि जीवन में सबसे बड़ा जो बोझ है बाप के कंधे पर बेटे का जनाजा। तो वास्तव में उस बुजुर्ग आदमी ने अपने बेटे को उस जनाजे को ढोया तो उस दुख को महसूस करता है, और सबसे बड़ा दुख उसे ये लग रहा है कि वो दुख को कोई बांट नहीं पा रहा है। उसके बाद वो सवारी उतर जाती है, फिर 3-4 बच्चे चढ़ते हैं उस तांगे के ऊपर, और वो उनसे भी कहता है बच्चों तुम्हारी तरह मेरा एक जवान बेटा जो 20-22 साल का था वो गुजर गया। लेकिन बच्चे उसकी बात नहीं सुनते, वो अपना वोदका पी रहे हैं, आपस में खूब बातें कर रहे हैं, एक दूसरे के साथ खूब हंसी मजाक कर रहे हैं, और उस बूढ़े का दुख दर्द वो नहीं सुन पाते, और वो उनका भी डेस्टिनेशन आता है, वो भी उतर जाते हैं। फिर वो बेचारा अब सोचता है मैं किससे अपना दुख शेयर करूं। तीसरी बार वो एक बड़े महल के सामने खड़ा होता है जहां 2 दरबान बाहर खड़े हुए हैं। तो वो उन दरबारियों को कहता है, गार्ड को कहता है कि भाई साहब कितने बजे हैं। तो गार्ड नाराज हो जाते हैं, कह रहे भाई समय खराब ही चल रहा है, तुम्हारा भी, मुझे लगता है हमारा भी, और हमारा खराब हो जाएगा अगर तुमने बहुत लंबे समय तक यहाँ खड़े रहे, क्योंकि मालिक ने देख लिया कि तुम्हारे से बात कर रहे हैं तो मुझे नौकरी से निकाल देंगे। तो वहां से भी अपना तांगा बेचारा आगे लेके चलता है, घर पहुंचता है। और चेखव ने जो लिखा है कि आगे वो घर पहुंच के अपने घोड़ी को खोलता है और वो अपने नान जिसमें वो चारा डालते हैं वहां बांध देता है, और अपनी घोड़ी से कहता है मेरी प्यारी घोड़ी, आज बहुत ज्यादा कमाई नहीं हो पाई है, इसलिए मैं तुम्हें चना तो नहीं खिला पाऊंगा, लेकिन चलो ये जो भूसा है, घास है, इससे ही गुजारा करो। और ऐसा कह के वो उस नांद में, उस बर्तन में चारा डालता है, घास डालता है, भूसा डालता है, और फिर वो कहता है अपनी घोड़ी से कि मेरी प्यारी घोड़ी, अब तुम कल्पना करो अगर तुम्हारा जवान बेटा, जैसा कि मेरा जवान बेटा गुजर गया, अगर ऐसे तुम्हारा जवान बेटा गुजर जाता तो तुम्हें कैसा लगता। अब देखिए यही कहानी खत्म हो रही है, और चेखव ने कैसे कहानी को मोड़ा है कि ऐसे दिखाया है कि अब वो घोड़ी अपने नांद से मुंह निकालती है और अपने मालिक के दोनों हाथों को चूमती है। तो यहाँ ये दिखाने की कोशिश की है चेखव ने कि जो जानवर है वो आदमी जैसा व्यवहार कर रहा है, और उससे पहले जो 3 कैटेगरी के जो उनको आदमी मिले थे वो जानवर से हो गए थे, बच्चे भी, वो पहला व्यक्ति भी, और वो गार्ड भी। तो ये एम्पैथी का जो भाव है घोड़ी के माध्यम से उन्होंने समझाया है। तो कितनी मार्मिक कहानी है, इसके माध्यम से कितना सुंदर संदेश देते हैं चेखव कि किस तरह से हमारे जीवन मूल्य जो बदल गए हैं, हमारा कितना वैल्यूज बदल गई हैं। और नई शिक्षा नीति जो हमारी राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 है, इसमें भी इस बात पर जोर दिया गया है कि जो हमारे जीवन मूल्य हैं, जिसमें एम्पैथी भी है, सिंपैथी भी है, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग भी है, क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग भी है, ये बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट वैल्यूज हैं। मैं समझता हूँ उसको होना ही चाहिए। और मैं तो ये मानता हूँ कि एजुकेशन इज ग्रैंड panacea for all socio-economic evils. Through education, we can change our socio-economic status. Former President of South Africa, Mr. Nelson Mandela, rightly pointed out, education is the most powerful weapon which you
To
can
fight
use to change the world.
poverty
Really,
also.
really. So, National Education Policy 2020, I would like to confine to expenditure of GDP on education. At present, current expenditure of the GDP on education is approximately 4.4%, and under new education policy, National Education Policy 2020, target is 6%. If we spend 6% of GDP on education, definitely निश्चित तौर पर सारी सिनेरियो बदलेगा। यहाँ मैं कुछ डेटा भी कोट करना चाहता हूँ जो मैंने अभी HRD की रिपोर्ट से मैंने देखा है, जो 5-6 साल पुरानी रिपोर्ट है, कि सबसे अच्छी स्थिति जो है नॉर्थ ईस्ट की है। मणिपुर 8.7%, एवरेज 4.4 है, लेकिन मणिपुर एक्सपेंडिचर ऑन एजुकेशन is 8.7, more than 8%. Nagaland 7.7, Mizoram 7.2, Tripura 7.4, all are northeast states. And Bihar is still better, 5.5. Arunachal Pradesh 5, more than 5%. Himachal Pradesh 4.8. It is average, above average. And UP is also better, 5.3%. Delhi 1.5, which is very shocking. Gujarat 2.4, so below average. National average is 4.4, but expenditure on education in Gujarat is 2.4%. Punjab 2.5, Maharashtra 2.6, West Bengal 3.5, Kerala 3.8. Although Kerala is number one SD point of view, Human Development Index point of view, it is number one. Actually, SDI, as you know, there are three parameters which covers the SDI. One is per capita income, another is education, and third one is the health profile. तो बेसिकली एक चीज मैं और यहाँ राजू साहब, जो आप बहुत अच्छा कंडक्ट कर रहे हैं, बहुत सी चीजें सीखने को मिल रही हैं आपसे। अभी इसी महीने केजरीवाल साहब का एक स्टेटमेंट मैंने पढ़ा और वो न्यूज़ पे भी बड़ा हाईलाइट था कि दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट आने वाले समय में एजुकेशन पर 25% खर्च करेगी। अगर 25% दिल्ली सरकार खर्च करने का मादा रख सकती, हौसला रख सकती है, तो बाकी जो स्टेट्स हैं जहां पर नेशनल एवरेज 4% से भी कम है, उनको जरूर एक प्रेरणा लेनी चाहिए। निश्चित तौर पर अगर हम एक्सपेंडिचर बढ़ाएंगे एजुकेशन पर, तो निश्चित तौर पर सारी चीजें बदल जाएंगी। आर्थिक हालात भी, सामाजिक हालात भी, जो हमारी जो सांस्कृतिक दूरियां हैं और ये जो एक कल्चरल लैग है, वो भी कम होगा। और एक स्लोगन मैंने बनाया था, शिक्षा है सच्चा गहना, सुखी वही जिसने ये पहना। तो वास्तव में जो शिक्षा के ऊपर हम असली एजुकेशन, तो हमारा जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है वो वास्तव में देखा जाए तो ना कि गोल्ड में, सिल्वर में, इन सब चीज़ों की बजाय अगर हम एजुकेशन पे इन्वेस्ट करें, तो इन्वेस्टमेंट इन एजुकेशन आई थिंक is the wonderful investment. It's more beneficial than investment in gold and silver and other properties. And the second point जो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा इस पॉलिसी का, it's a democratic decision. इसमें 125 lakhs, 1.25 lakhs ग्राम पंचायत को, large number of students, scholars, teachers, professors, educationists, people representative, I mean member of parliament, MLA, etc., are involved in framing NEP 2020. So, in real sense, it is a national education policy which is based on the democratic values. So, Rajal ji, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Indrajit sir. You talked straight from your heart. एंड आपने जो बताया, और मैं वो आप बता रहे थे, मैं सोच रहा था कि वेरी सिंपल टूल, यू बिगैन बाय सेइंग कि भाई एक टीचर जब क्लास में जाए, सो मस्ट एंटर विद अ हैप्पी फेस। और मैं अपना पूरा पिछले इतने सालों की जर्नी मैंने एकदम से रिकॉल करी कि, और मुझे ध्यान आया कि देयर वर टू काइंड ऑफ टीचर्स, टीचर्स हु एंटर्ड द क्लास और जिनका हम वेट करते थे, एंड देयर वर मोस्ट ऑफ द टीचर्स जिनके आने से हम डरते थे कि अरे आज तो उनकी क्लास है। So, और मैं अभी ध्यान कर रहा हूँ कि मुझे हमेशा वो सब्जेक्ट ज्यादा एक्साइटेड लगे जिनका मैं वेट करता रहा। तो ये एक सिंपल सा टूल, डजंट नीड एनी एक्सपेंडिचर, डजंट नीड एनी ट्रेनिंग, एंड वेरी वेरी सिंपल ह्यूमन टूल, जो सभी को, नॉट जस्ट टीचर, किसी भी प्रोफेशन में, बट आई डोंट नो फॉर व्हाट रीजंस वी हैव बीन इग्नोरिंग इट। मे बी अगर हम हंसते हुए जाएंगे तो उससे बच्चे कुछ 4 क्वेश्चन फालतू पूछ ले, तो दिस कुड बी अ रीजन कि you create an environment जहाँ पे बच्चे डरे बैठे और वो सवाल ना पूछे। So big thanks. You very well talked about the importance of empathy, right? And अभी कुछ टाइम पहले कुछ सेशन में there were very senior educator from Lucknow participated, and she was doing very well in that that category of students with special ability. And she shared a very very disturbing fact. She shared that one